satellite access has been blocked.
So satellite has a bad comm, that happens.
Not a satellite, all of them.
This wasn't a malfunction. It was intentional.
There's potential for catastrophic weather events on a global scale.
A geostorm.
So, you've been in a few futuristic films before, like Cloud9. Would you say this one's a bit slightly closer to home, wouldn't you think? Why would you say it's different to any other kind of apocalyptic action movie?
Yeah, I think with this film, you know, it's hugely sort of based on potential reality for a lot of people. I think, you know, that's kind of the scariest part of the film, is that it's set in the near distant future in a world where we haven't dealt with the issues of climate change. And, you know, weather disasters are becoming bigger and more extreme, and you know, and it sort of looks into how we sort of deal with that, you know. So for that reason, yeah, it's not sort of, it's total sci-fi, and it's a total roller coaster, blockbuster, fun movie, definitely, and is hugely entertaining to kind of watch, but very sort of brilliantly kind of weaves in quite necessary issues about things like climate change, and definitely sort of holds a black mirror up to, you know, the world that we live in, I think.
Have you ever been in any extreme weather conditions yourself?
I haven't really, no. I've been asked this, and I've been fortunate enough. I mean, growing up in England, you don't really deal with too much extremities with weather, do you?
Well, Hurricane Ophelia was only...
Yeah, well, there's that, well, yeah, which was really interesting, sort of while we were talking about it, and then discovering, and I was saying those things that I'd never, you know, Britain doesn't really deal with such extreme weather conditions, and then started getting reports that there was a hurricane heading towards Ireland, you know. But no, I remember a hurricane probably in the 80s sometime, and we all got a day off school, and there were some trees falling down, and a few garden sheds got sort of smashed, you know, but nothing to the effect that you see on the news and to what you see in the movie.
Well, especially this year, some critics may have said, like, oh, it's a bad time to bring out a movie after the terrible things that have happened with the hurricane, etc. What would you say to that?
I'd say, you know, of course it's a really sensitive time, but a very interesting time to be talking more and more and more about the issues of climate change. And I think the film, you know, it is a piece of entertainment, you know, of course it is, and its primary sort of force is to entertain a huge audience, cinema audience. But I think the issues that it brings up are very necessary and important issues about climate change. You know, showing a world where we haven't dealt with it and how devastating that could potentially be. And the film's very hopeful too, you know. The film by the end is talking about how we all need to kind of come together as a world force, you know. All the countries need to sort of join together, and that's a very positive thing. So, I mean, I think, of course, it's a sensitive time, but I think ultimately the issues in the film are very necessary and good to be talking about, I think.
What would you do if you heard there was about to be a geostorm?
I mean, you know, I would probably try and find Gerard Butler and see what he had to say about it.
How was it working with Gerard?
He was brilliant. He was great. You know, it was effortless, just kind of getting the dynamic of the two brothers kind of together. You know, he's a lot of fun, and I imagine if we were brothers, that he would probably be the irresponsible one, and I would be forced to be the responsible one. You know.
And last question, what's your favourite season of the year and why?
Someone else asked me this, and my answer was I love the fact we live in a country with seasonal change. That's really important to me. I like the fact that the city looks different throughout the seasons, and I love all of them equally. I love the winter, and I love it when it gets cold, and there's a sort of romance to that, you know, the sort of cold weather. I really sort of love that. But then it's great when the sun comes out and everyone's sitting out in the beer garden at the pub, you know.
Even if it's only for about 4 hours.
Yeah, which is very rare, so you get very excited about it. But yeah, to me the change is really important in weather. I couldn't live in one country like where it's just sunny all the time, you know.
Until it becomes a geostorm.
Exactly.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Jim.
All right, mate. You too, man. Real pleasure.